Go sit outside.
I have to leave early. I don't want to bother you, Neil. I have to leave early. I don't want to bother you. I do feel very fond right now.
I'll leave early. We're in Tomer Devorah, Parak Sheni, learning the Spheroids and learning the Keser, and the mashal of, it's all a mashal of the Keser of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Rosh of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Obviously it's all a mashal, but it's a good mashal. So it's a mashal. It's a mashal for the reason that mashal is there is for two reasons. One is that we can understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our terms, forehead, ears, eyes. But the more important thing is that we can understand more about ourselves because we're B'Tselem Elokim. So it's a good mashal because it's a mashal that we can relate to. If we're going to talk about what HaKadosh Baruch Hu really is, even if we could talk about such a thing, it would totally not relate to us. So by being able to be mitzayer it in a tzur that we can understand, then the mashal's relevance, and of course, like the Surgeon General warning in all this is that don't take it too literally in terms of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's. Don't want to be mitzayer HaKadosh Baruch Hu in your mind. I always mention this, that it's like probably one of the biggest challenges I think of being a serious Jew is that you're Shivisi Hashem L'Negdi Summit and you're davening in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and you're imagining you're standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So how do you imagine you're standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu if you have no idea what HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks like? So as a bit you start imagining whatever it is that you imagine because you heard something when you were a kid or saw a book or something. So like the minute that you start imagining something, boom, the buzzer goes off. You've done the wrong thing. So there's an unbelievable challenge to everybody to be able to be Omed Lifnei HaMelech without any tzura l'melech. It's a very difficult. Even if you'll say it's some kind of an energy in the bria, it's very difficult to understand God. It's a very difficult thing to do, but yet it's possible for everybody from Bar Mitzvah up to daven with kavanah. It's an S. It's a siyata d'shmaya to daven with kavanah. We can daven, and I think what it is humbleness, humbling oneself in front of that which he really can't understand. But clearly there is a koach here of the bria, and clearly there is a koach of hashgacha pratis. These are clear things, and to be able to humble oneself to somebody was talking to Nachman Breslover once about the tzaros that Klal Yisrael was going through at that time, the pogroms and where's HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So he said, if I understood Hashem, I wouldn't want to worship Him. Who wants to worship something they can understand? That's already that you're already worshiping something that like yourself. So it's the bilti havana which makes it clear. So that's my disclaimer over here, because it seems funny to talk about Hashem's ears and eyes and nose. But I'll call upon him. We've learned about the forehead, the keser, and the metzach, and the machshava, and he says here haravias. What I want to do is I want to read haravias chamishis together quickly and see if we can understand the omek in it, because this is easy. No Kabbalistic things here. It's very easy. Haravias, the fourth midah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is shiyeh oznav noitais tamid lishmaya hatoy, that our ears should be conditioned to hear good things. What goes into our ears goes in Balkara. We don't necessarily have a choice of what goes into our ears. Eyes, at least you can close. But your ears, you'd have to do a pula to close your ears, which is not normal. So you hear what you hear. You hear what you hear. You hear the news that you hear. You hear the lashon hara that you hear. You hear the besuras toivos or the besuras rois. You hear things come into our ears. So Shia Oznav, the Chavetz Chaim celebrated the fact that he went deaf.
Is there a distinction between listening and hearing, though?
Oh, or looking and seeing. So Shia Oznav Noitais. So the midah here is, this is what he says, the end of the beginning. Person's ear should be noteh tamid lishmo atov. They should have an ear for good things. Omnam shema shav oy hamaguna lo yikanes behem klal lesishma lesisa shema shav, says in the Torah. So what's a shema shav? So Rashi says in Chumash, Mishpatim, right? Rashi says in Chumash, lesishma shema shav, lesisa shema shav. It says, means that you shouldn't listen to Lashon Hara. That's what Rashi says. But meaning, like, halachically, it means that if one aide comes by himself and he comes to say an edus in a Beis Din, so anyway, he's not going to be able to pass it up Yed Echad, so don't even listen to him. What do you waste your time? It's interesting information, and I'm a rabbi, I got to know this. No, like if it has no relevance, what are you listening to it for? So this is like Sishma Sheva Shav. Also, is another Azhar the Gemara in Sanhedrin that even if two Eidim come into a Beis Din, but you know yourself that it's sheker, the person saying sheker. You know this is not emes. I mean, two Eidim could come to cahoots and say such a thing happened. I mean, you know it's sheker. Don't let it into your Beis Din. You're not mechuyev, even though it's a chiddush, even though pishnei Eidim Yaakov Davar. You're not mechuyev. So the Gemara has a seder for this. The Gemara said Sanhedrin and the Bacchus. There's bedikos, there's chakiros. Chakiros had eitzaif. Bedikos sheva the chakiros had eitzaif. The Gemara says you have to be motivated. You can't just accept everything. Oh, that's what I heard. So loishishma shema a shema shav shouldn't come to you. Or you have a gula or something which is not nice. Loyikanes should not go into our ears. Kederach shesoid ha'azana ha'oyoyla ein shub tzakas din. Now this is where it gets interesting. Just want to read you here in my peers on the bottom. It says, Gemara Makkos Daf Chav Gimel, Amar Rav Sheshes Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Kol ha'masaper lashon hara, v'chol ha'makabel lashon hara, v'chol ha'meid eidos sheker, Roy la shlichai la klavim, shenemar la kelav tashlichon oisai, and right after that, the next pasuk in Shmais Chav Gimel Aleph is like sisa shema shav. So again, the lashon of kol ha'masaper lashon hara v'chol ha'makabel lashon hara. So it seems like a pretty simple thing. Don't be makabel lashon hara. That's what Rashi says in Chumash also. Like sisa shema shav. Don't be makabel lashon hara. Then he says, Kiderach shesoid hazana hel yoina, that when you talk about God listening and God hearing, the hazana hel yoina, the Kadosh Baruch Hu's holy listening, ain't shum tzakas hadin v'loy pagam lashon hara nichnas l'sham. Hashem listens, he's not makabel lashon hara. Kach lo yazin ela toivos v'advarim ha'ma'ilim, so too a person should listen to only those things which are toivos, v'advarim ha'ma'ilim, things that there's a toelis to, ushar hadvarim ha'magbirim kas, and things which make you angry, lo yazin aleim klal, don't even listen to it. I don't want to take away from the simple message here, because the simple message is an important one, but I do think that there's something much more to this, and the raya is from the next sentence. Ukamai shahan nachash, V'diburai u'lashaynai einay nichnas l'mala. Which nachash is he talking about?
Kaneda?
Only one, right?
Nachash Gadmoni.
Right. Nachash
HaKadmoni.
HaKadmoni. So the nachash in Gan Eden. So what? Ein ha-nachash v'diburai u'lashaynai einay nichnas l'mala. Nachash wasn't talking to Hashem, he wasn't davening, he was talking to Chava, and he was saying, it's okay to do the Zaver, there's no big deal, what are you making a big deal about? That's what the Nachash was doing. What do you mean, Eido Nichnas L'Mala? What does it mean? The more I don't understand here, the more excited I get, because it tells you that there's something. Kach lo yikanes elav shum davar maguna, v'hainu, and this is what the pasuk means, like sisa shema shav. Kol shegeit shar hamaguna shlei kanes laosnei klav leitia kashavas ela El Hadvarim HaTayvim.
Well, doesn't make sense because it says in Shulchan Aruch that Shua Shav causes damage in the world by people making false oaths. So obviously Hashem hears these false oaths. So I mean,
and acts on them.
It's an accident and there's damage in the world. So
Very good.
somehow Hashem does hear it, but I don't know what it means why he doesn't hear.
There's hearing and hearing, right? Like,
Yeah.
Also the Sidracha.
what do you want from the
Feeds the other
Sidracha?
side.
What?
When you do this, maybe it feeds the other side.
Uh-huh.
But the Nachash, it doesn't sound like it's a Lashon Haber. It sounds like it's a thing that's happening right now.
Excellent.
Not the Nachash Gadmoni, but
Which
think it's
Nachash, which Nachash are we talking about here?
so
Is
it
it
could be
another
what
one?
we're talking about. The Kitrugim, the etc. That's the Nachash. Goes only to a certain point.
In
but
my
not-
Pirush it says Hanachash Zu Hasamach Mem.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, Gil. It's a different Nachash. It's a different Nachash. So I'd like to explain, but let's do the Chamishis. I think that's better because that way. HaChamishis, we got the point, right? The main point is don't listen to bad things. HaChamishis, we went from ears, Einov, to your eyes. So the ears is just like Hashem doesn't hear bad things, which we have 100 kashas on. So too we shouldn't listen to bad things, which we have even more kashas on. Because how do you not hear something? The next thing is the eyes. Lo yistakel ben klal b'shum davar muganim. Don't look bad things. Don't look at bad things. Amnam tiyena tamid pekuchais lahashkiach. Your eyes should be open for what? Lahashkiach lerachem alaham lulim mifikoichay. Look for people that need help. Look for people that need our compassion. Ukishiyir b'tzarsani lo yatzamein of klal. That's what your eyes are for. Don't close your eyes if somebody's asking for help. Use your das to think about how to help the person and to have rachamim on him, and to daven for him. Hashem is looking for the good. So Rabbi Yaakov says, what do you mean good? Hashem's looking for the good, but he sees also the bad, right? There was a Chorban Beis Hamikdash. There was a Mabul. Vayar Hashem ki ra'as ha'aretz. Hashem saw that the land was bad, and he destroyed it. Right? Rabbos ra'as ha'aretz. What are we talking about over here? So let me say a couple of things. There's a couple of things I want to say, but let me just try to go in order here. First of all, the Nachash. Let's just get that out of the way here. The Nachash represented in Gan Eden the Yetzer Hara. That's what the Nachash was. Nachash was the Yetzer Hara. So they have signs now. I don't know if anybody's been to the United States in a very recent past, but they don't want people to drive under the influence of alcohol, and then rose it up. So the signs all over: don't drive under the influence of friends. Go faster. Come on, don't be a wimp. It's like the biggest influence they finally have understood is not the alcohol and not the drugs. It's like the friends that are pushing you to. People by themselves don't get drunk.
Backseat drivers.
Backseat drivers. Yeah. The influence of friends. But the Nachash represents that Yetzer Hara. Come on, you can eat it, you can do it, nothing's going to happen, it's okay. You just eat the apple and get it over with, swallow, and that's the end of it. You're not going to bring any harm into the world. You're not going to die. You're not going to. This is just. Don't be such a format. That's the. Nothing's going to happen. Right? We're ragil to this kind of. Be some mashugga. You have to be some mashugga. Okay. What happened was on a deep level is the Nachash. I've explained this a number of times. I think in Midaches of Parak Aleph. The Nachash was the Yetzer Hara b'chutz, but when Adam and Chava ate the fruit of the Eitz Hadas, so then the Yetzer Hara became Bifnim. And at that moment, it was Gazar Misa L'Olam, because as long as the person is pure and there's no chet inside of the person, there's never going to be Misa. Ein Misa B'li Chet. Ein Misa B'li Chet. It's impossible. So there would not have been Misa in the world. But now that the Chet was taken, from the outside into the inside. So now you're Geyser, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Geyser Misa to the Elul. And a person is going to die. Adam Rishon didn't know whether he's going to die like in 2 minutes, or if he's going to die eventually, or he probably didn't realize that he's caused now the whole mankind, the whole humankind to going to die. But he was Geyser Misa Li'olam. So that's what happens with the Nachash. So that when we talk about the Nachash, what we're really talking about, the Samach Mem, is the Yetzer Hara Mibachutz always. And the Yetzer Hara B'Bifnim is that which is inside of us all the time, because, well, maybe I don't have to do that. We don't need anybody from the outside. So the new signs in America should say, don't drive under the influence of your Yetzer Hara. Like, don't influence under your own influence. Like a person is... So I've explained this before, I want to say it again, that the Gemara says, and this is mamish what it says here, the Gemara says that Hu Yetzer Hara, Hu Asatan, Hu Malach HaMavos. That the Yetzer Hara is one character that comes up a lot in Shas. The Satan is another one that comes up a lot in Shas. The Malach HaMavos is another. So Hu Yetzer Hara, says the Gemara, don't think that it's 3 separate things. Hu Yetzer Hara, Hu Asatan, Hu Malach HaMavos. What's the pshat? So the pshat is that the Yetzer Hara is when you want to do something but you haven't done it. That looks good. I think I'm going to do that. What the heck? I'm going to do it. So I'm going to eat it. I'm going to steal it. I'm going to do whatever the avera might be. But I didn't do it. So I haven't challenged my purity. It's just like I feel guilty for even wanting to do such a thing. That's pretty normal. Everybody has a Yetzer Hara. The trick is libi cholol b'kirbi, is to control the Yetzer Hara. But now, let's say he goes ahead and does the Avera. So now you've created it's like, you drank the oven cleaner. You drank it. Like it's how you actually put it, once you put it in your body, and once it's there, now you got a problem. You got something toxic within you. So once you actually do the Avera, so doing the Avera, like Chafetz Chaim says, like Velen Zayin Aganef and Nishkin Ganef. Like the fact that you want to steal something, you see this in Halacha. It's not called stealing. It's not called stealing. It doesn't make hateful. It doesn't get an onesh. Nothing. You have to actually steal. So wanting to take poison, you don't die yet from wanting to take poison. But once you do the Avera and you're machnas the toxin within you, so now you've got a problem because it's a stira to my neshama. My neshama is saying, neshama shenasatu b'ta'irihi, it's tahora, everything's tar. Now you put this thing davar tameh, now you've got a machlokes going on inside. And if you don't do something about it, you will die. Because that's what toxins do. If you don't stop it in its track, which is called tshuva, if you don't stop it in its track, it will continue to get you. How does it get you? I don't know if it's such a supernatural, spiritual thing. I think Pashat that the way it kills, the way I see people getting, dying on some level, is that when they do something wrong, then they have to justify it, they have to rationalize it, and they become completely krum, like the krum. Krum is the cognitive dissonance that goes on is unbelievable. Like the state of I listen to people talk, and they talk shtusim. Not everybody, not the people here. I listen to shtusim all day long because it starts off with "this is what I want to do," or "this is what I did," or "this is the mistake that I made." They spend their whole life rationalizing it, and they say shtusim. They're saying shtusim. It's not a shtusim. There's a sheker. Like wake up and don't say sheker. Like, but this is what we want to do. Bein l'tov, bein l'ra. Like people talk themselves into all kinds of things. This is a slow death. This is a slow death. And that's the pshat. Hu Yetzer Hara when it's on the outside. The same character is adjusted. Hu Hasatan. It starts to hurt you. It becomes a stir within you. That's a much deeper madrega. I'm walking around toward. And if you let it go, Hu Malach HaMavos. It'll kill you. So this is what we're talking about, the Nachash. What the Nachash is that which has come from the outside to the inside. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says the Tomer Devorah, Nachash v'dibura yulashonai, as Gil says, every single day and every single minute, the Nachash is talking and talking and talking and talking. That's the Yetzer Hara, right? That's what the Nachash is. Einoi nichnas l'ma'ala. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, wait, maybe this is not the person. Don't kill him yet. Maybe he'll do tshuva. And he waits for him until the time that he dies. So there's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's like a very, very, okay. You ate the Drano, you drank the Drano, but there's still an 8, so there's still time. There's still a way. Maybe the person will be to do tshuva. Maybe I could be memarek this with Yisurim. That's a chesed too. Maybe if we put the person in a certain what do you call it? In a certain kind of a hospital. What do they call those things?
Hospice?
A hospice or something. Maybe we could
Rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation. That's what, maybe we could do something with, like maybe or Sameach or something. Maybe there's something. Maybe there's something we can do here. Maybe there's something we can do. Sometimes he has to get drastic. Maybe he needs a war. But let's not take this as this is what this person is, and therefore Misa.
So when Hashem said Ayeka to Adam Harishon, if he hadn't,
Who are you really?
If he hadn't had said, she made me do it, then maybe that would have been tshuva. Maybe if he
Could have been. He did. Yeah, that's true. But the Ayeka was like, where are you in this story here? Have you become your Avera? You see, this is you're making a very pointed point that, like, a person does something wrong, you do something wrong. Now, don't spend your whole life trying to make it right. It's wrong. Like the best thing is the best thing to do when you do something wrong is I made a mistake. That's all. I made a mistake. We all make mistakes, and if you make a mistake, then you have a chance of life. It's such an important. Tamidly, I speak to myself, but this is such a human thing to try to rationalize and to try to make it good, to try to explain. You can explain your whole life. You explain your whole life away. It's all shtus. It's all sheker. Like the thing to do is to say, I made a mistake. Let's cut our losses, and now let's go further. Let's see what we can do. So I believe this is what it means here when it says that the nachash is not nichnas lamalo. If it was nichnas lamalo, then it means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would take the person and evaluate him according to the avera that he did. He doesn't do that. Now, what that means for us is the following. See, it's easy to say. Let me. I was just thinking about this. I don't know why I never thought about it before. The Chafetz Chaim speaks all the time based on this pasuk, that sometimes, even if it's a toelas, you're allowed to listen to lashon hara, shidduch, let's say. Let's say business. Should I go into this person? Listen to lashon hara. I talk lashon hara for a living. I feel because everybody's always calling me about a shidduch. Like I'm the go-to guy. At least Baruch Hashem, so there's a Kehillah here now, so people are calling. Schools call every day. Schools call. What's with this family? So I got to talk lashon hara. That's what I I don't say anything bad about it, but I'm the advocate. But the halacha is when you hear lashon hara, even if it's for toelas, it's mutter to talk to lashon hara. So the Chafetz Chaim says, but you're not allowed to be makabel lashon hara. So I asked myself, what the heck does that mean?
split personality.
What does it mean? What does it mean? Everybody says it. It's like yeshiva should think to say. You're allowed to listen, you're allowed to hear, but you're not allowed to be makabel. You're also allowed to believe it. In other words, like I'm not going to go bury you. I'm not going to make the shidduch.
I'm sure you're a great guy.
Right? This person suffers from severe mental illness, is a kleptomaniac, and has killed a few people. I hear, I'm not makabel. I'm not makabel. I'm not makabel. So if you're not makabel, so you're going to marry the person? No. The toelas. So what does it mean not to be makabel?
You don't know for a fact. It could just be one side of a story.
Okay, so you're saying the pshat not being makabel is that you have a suffix. So you're not makabel, it is an emes gamur. That's your pshat.
And what is an emes gamur?
No, but that is your pshat. That's not what the Chafetz Chaim said. That's not what the Chafetz Chaim
But we
said.
don't call it. It's like the mitzvah is know somebody. We still have to love. You still have to love every Jew. Like my friend doesn't have to be soneim. It's just a salat.
So not the ma'aseh, not the person.
Oh, so here we have today a chidush nifla.
So the Gavla, it's a huge internalizing.
Don't be makabel. This is not. I have not. It has not become me. I have not changed what you are in my eyes because of what I heard. You did something wrong. Beseder. I don't have to marry you. I don't have to go into business with you. But I'm not makabel as this is what you are. You are a ganev. You are a noef.
I think
It's such a big avodah, by the way, because it's not just lashon hara. We're talking about lashon hara, as you know, with things that are true. We're not talking about things that are not true. But somebody is. I don't want to get politically incorrect here, but I think somebody. It's okay. I'm just saying, like there are people. We hear about people that do averos. We hear about people that do averos. Okay, no. The worst thing for that person do averos. A person did for some form of abuse. I'm not justifying. It's terrible. I probably wouldn't let the person down here and give him an aliyah in the shul. Probably not. Baruch Hashem, we don't have that in the sign. I'm so repulsed by it. It's so disgusting to me. But something I think about, like not doing that very well. Relating to. No, like personally, I don't have the. I'm saying it's not my Yitzhar, but other Yitzhars. It's not like one. But you think about. Okay, the person did a terrible thing. So, and it's emes, lashon hara. It's emes. Now, what does it mean? What are the ramifications? So it might have ramifications of we shouldn't daven in the same minyan with the person. Maybe we should punish the person. Maybe But what does it mean in terms of my thinking? About him? Does it mean that I have to mamish be makabel? Meaning, does it have to integrate into me? Sometimes I guess it does if a person's like a real Russia. But how often does that happen? Does it have to actually integrate into me until it becomes like part of what myself is? I hate him. I'm not so bar. The whole Gemara there talks about a soine that you have to give kadima. When it comes to Tina and Prika, you have to give Kadima to a Saine over an Oyev B'nei Lachuf as Yitzray, right? You're familiar with the Gemara about Monsey? That if you see two people need help on the road, two flat tires on the road, who are you going to help? You should help your enemy and not your friend. So why? Because Lachuf is Yitzray. That's good. That goes against your Yitzhar. Frank the Gemara, where's a butcher to hate somebody to begin with? What do you do with the soda?
You'll have to learn
Ella, Mishum, Shira, no. Dvar Erva. Not Erva, not Avera, Erva. Shira, I say he's a child abuser. Dvar Erva doesn't mean that he was holding hands with some girl. Dvar Erva means that he was over an Ashes Ish. That's what a Dvar Erva means. Erva, he did something which could possibly Yahar Vayafar. That's what Erva means. It could be he did something that's Chayv Karis. But to help him with his tire, why? Mishnu Kadei Lachuf is Yitzray. It doesn't make any sense. Aren't I supposed to hate him? Good for him. He has a flat tire. Doesn't know where he belongs. What you're not going to stop to help him? The Gemara says yes. I'm just saying you're going to be a Jew here. So the Jewish thing is to help the person. Lachuf is Yitzray because it's your Yitzhara, which is doing what? Which is internalizing and makabel the lashon hara. So makabel, I believe, does not mean that you believe it, you don't believe it, you believe it. You don't have to be a nar, you believe it. Right? There's pictures, there's ages, you believe it. But I'm not makabel that you're a bad person. I'm makabel that you did something bad. And if a person's doing tshuva, avada, even if the person's not yet doing tshuva, so he's not doing tshuva. But I'm not makabel that you're a bad person. And I think that's what Kabbalist lashon hara means. So when we're talking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not allowing that which he hears with his aznayim. It's not just listening and hearing. He's not being sisa shem ashav means he's not being makabeled into the highest place. Because if he's makabel in the highest place, then there's a psak din on your chayv misa. Because hu yetzar hu asan hu malach hamavos. So the malach hamavos doesn't work yet. Adam Rishon didn't drop that after he did the chet. Why? Because he has man for tshuva. Right? Okay, so let's go.
Based on this whole thing, then Adam Rishon had a Yitzhar before he sinned. It was like, he always had Yitzhar, Shrai, Shanagi, the fruit. Once he ate it, then something became...
So in the lashon of the Mekubalim, the Yitzhar is mibachutz and not bifnim. It wasn't bifnim. Once he ingested the Eitz Hadas, so now we all have a Yitzhar bifnim. You're born with it.
The bachutz one
Ra
means,
minu urav.
bachutz means just in the mind. That's what it means bachutz.
Mind, the heart.
It's
I
the
mean,
previous
what part?
Bachutz is
A taiva.
Is it we said it's
A
a
type.
now. It's a now. Just until you do the avera, he always wants to do some sort of avera.
So because you're misunderstanding Yetzer Hara means that I want to do something. That's not what Yetzer Hara means. Yetzer Hara means that I'm compelled to do something. Yetzer Hara means that it's part of me. That's Yetzer Hara is here. Yetzer Hara is not out there. Everybody wants to do something. Like if you walk by a Trafer restaurant in Manhattan and you smell the smell and you see the people and you see the partying going inside and you think to yourself, wow, how would it be like to be sitting in there and partaking in this festive, party? Okay, and then you keep walking. Is it a real possibility? No, it's like a sort of a little fantasy that goes through the mind, goes in, goes out. So it's a harbi bachutz. But when I'm sitting and I'm thinking, like, how can I do this? How can I get this? I'm like, how do I steal this thing? How do I get myself this kind of that's already a previous. That's Yetzer Hara. That's called Yetzer Hara. So before it wasn't shaykh to him. The das. How would it be the Yetzer Das? Very the nachash came and he put it bifnim. And that's the difference. And as we all know, anybody who's ever done an Haber, that once you do it, like, wasn't worth it. Like, how many Haberas were worth it? I'm saying even from a Gashria's point of view, like how many, except for Lashon Hara, that could be pretty geschmack. But like, like a place, But what is like, I ate the rabbinut. Okay. like Bakarak, So that's the Oznayim. And that's the Einayim also.
This is similar to Yiflo Shabbanatenu?
Exactly, that's Ches.
Like
exactly the same thing. It stops here. Meaning it doesn't change the persona, my perception of your persona. And the same thing is with the Einayim. Because Einayim, like you can see, but you can see good, or you can see everything, or you can see and then you can. In other words, these are the two input. The cameras, the eyes, the ears. That's where input goes. But then it's up to us how we process it. It's not just because I saw seeing is believing. It's sheker. There are many people that have seen unbelievable things and they don't believe nothing. Because seeing is not believing. I don't know who made up that. Just, I hope it's not Chazal. To me, it doesn't make any sense, because seeing is the beginning of a process. And after that, like, it needs your heart, and it needs your mind, and it needs your. There's so much. How many people? I mean, people saw Nisim in Mitzrayim, and the next day they were building an Egel Azav. So so seeing is not believing. And believing is not changing your personality. There's like a lot of steps over here. This is so superficial to go from seeing to believing. So the Einayim are input valves, like they're taking in
Receptors.
It's receptors, exactly. And now, if you have something behind it, does it have memory? Does it have seichel? Does it have intelligence? That's a whole different level. I want to. Do I have 5 more minutes? I don't know what time I was supposed to do. But I had the following thought, and then we can finish this up. But I just want to finish this week. In Pirkei Avos it says, beginning of Parak Beis, Rabbi Yaacov said that a person should always remember that there's an ayin roya, an oizen shemas, v'chol ma'asecha v'sefer nichtav. So let's talk about Hashem. So Hashem has an ayin, not a nayim. Interesting. So ayin, the difference between an ayin and a nayim is selectivity, right? So Hashem sees. What's the lesson there of that Pirkei Avos? The lesson is that Hashem sees, Hashem hears, and everything gets written down. And don't think you're getting away with nothing. There's everything is recorded. And it just shows you how for the Rishoyim that say that what does Hashem care about what's going on in this world? No. Ayin roya, ayin shemas, chol ma'asecha v'sefer nichtavim. Comes the Maral Miprag. It's like in the Sefer Derech Chaim. And he says something that, if I would say this, you would be looking at me with one eye. But he says it. He says as follows, talking about this first of all, tzarich shistakel ha'adam sh'Hashem yisbarach roya hakol, positive shot, sh'lo yachshav k'lo yada hu yisbarach chas v'shal b'dvar v'nasim b'tachtoidim. Don't think that Hashem doesn't know what's going on in the tachtoidim. As the Rishayim say, and we can learn this in Tillim, lo yira yav lo yavin Elohei Yaakov. What does Hashem care about the whole thing altogether? That's the pshat in Ayin Roya, simple pshat. Frek the Baral, why doesn't it say Ayin Roya v'oizet Shabas? Why doesn't it say v'leiv mevin? If we want to say something kind of important and invasive about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we should say He knows what's going on deep in our heart. He's a leiv maven. He knows how to analyze what we're doing, and He knows what our real cover, which He does, right? Right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows exactly what's going on, but why does Rabbi say that?
It's dangerous. People convince themselves of something, so they'll receive that as the bigger heter for everything.
We're all dropped in.
Because they convince themselves that it's mutter, so they say, oh, I know it's mutter, of course Hashem knows it's mutter.
Hashem understands.
Hashem
understands.
So they convince themselves.
So it says the Maral, a little bit different. Mashloy Amar Leiv Mavin Mipnei Shekach Amar Akasav Einei Hashem Meshoitetois Bakol Haaretz Pasuk in Zechariah. But Tamid Akasav Toila Be'einei Hashem. It's always talking about the Einei Hashem. Zeh Ki Akasav Loimar Ki Hashem Yisbarach Royas Hadvarim Hanasim Mitzad Ha'oseh Hu ha'adam ha'osa avera. I don't know if you can understand that, but he explains it later. Listen to these words. Ficha Omar Ayin Roya, in order to save time, I'm skipping a little bit. Sh'Hashem Yisbarach Roya Ma'aseh Bnei Adam Mitzad Hachutz. Shekol Riyah Hu Mitzad Hachutz. Ba'ayidiyah b'leiv shayach af shaloi bilachutz. Zeh sha'amar ayin roya. That's what it means, ayin roya. Certainly, he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu understands everything that's going on, even in our hearts. But he chooses to look at it like an outsider.
It's Mari sign. It's also way up. Even if you're doing something right, if it looks wrong, so think about how...
You're saying the negative side, but the positive side is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decidedly does not look deeply into our hearts. He's looking at it like an outsider. What does it mean to look at it like an outsider? It's he says here, Mashal, Doima lemelech gadol me'oid, v'ligdulasai im echad min hashfelim and min hapchusim yavar dvarov, v'yitzivo shaloi, it doesn't take it personally. You imagine, like, if you're the Prime Minister of Israel and you hear somebody saying, you know, Bibi's a jerk, and he's going to go home and start crying to his wife. You can't have that job. You can't. The nature of the job is to hear people say how stupid you are all day long, and very, very little to the contrary. I'm not saying he is. I'm not giving you a muscle. Like the nature of being a melech or a leader is to be able to be minachutz. So what does it mean? Minachutz. You know, if before you're involved in a situation, you can handle anything. But once you get deeply involved in something, so it's very difficult to handle. We become very sensitive. Like once you're minachutz. Let's say you walk into some shul, nobody knows you, you don't know anybody, and somebody insults you. So I won't go back to the shul. But like if you're part of a chevra, you're part of an oilum, and somebody says something to you which is hurtful, that's hurtful. So there's this idea of seeing that the whole idea of seeing something is seeing it from the outside. That's what seeing is. Leiv Mavin is invasive. You're seeing it from the inside. Hashem remains by his choice. He remains an outsider to our chatoim. He's an ayin roa and an ozen shabas, but he's not a lave maven. This is like an unbelievable thing. In other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has no limitations. He can do whatever he wants. But he limits himself to seeing it from the outside. Somebody once said to me, a smart person, once said to me that, like we all get very annoyed by people around us, whether it's friends, family, whatever, country. Right? We get annoyed, take things personally, we get hurt. And like, what's the eitzah? Like, is there an eitzah for this? Like, we're humans, like it hurts, right? We become like pin cushions sometimes, like it hurts. So what's the eitzah? So the eitzah is to imagine yourself as an old wise person standing on a mountain watching the story from above. And you're in the story. And how would you think about it then? And how would you react? Meaning, turn the lave maven into an ayin roya. You're watching it, it's on TV.
You're detached.
So by detaching yourself from it and looking at it from above, you're actually getting a clearer view of the situation, and you're not paskening that
Based on your feelings.
well, not just that, but you're not paskening misa on anybody. You're just watching a dynamic, and you're part of the dynamic. You're part of the movie. So it's such a wonderful eitzah, by the way. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm just saying it's a wonderful eitzah to extract yourself from a situation which is very, very painful, climb up on top of the hill where nobody sees you, and strum your long white beard and look at the situation and see what it looks like. And it's very interesting. Sometimes it's even comical. Not just what the other person's doing, but even how you're reacting. It's just comical. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Einei Hashem M'shoitetais Ba'aretz. Eretz Yisrael's Aretz Asher Einei Hashem Ba Mitchilas Hashana Soif Shana. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu's einayim are here, but it's an ayin and it's one eye, which I think is very, very significant. It doesn't ever says einayim by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it just says ein Hashem. But the significance is that there's a certain decided einay. There's just a decided pulling away and removal from the etzem situation. So let me say this, maybe we'll go over it on Sunday, but the nekuda here is that when it comes to hearing Lashon Hara, let's just do the sikkum. What starts off to be something so pashut, like, have ears like Hashem, don't hear Lashon Hara. Have eyes like Hashem, don't see anything bad. It's actually quite deep. What it means is that I hear it, but I'm not makabel it. I'm not makabel it means I'm not paskening. This is not becoming part of the persona, part of the reality of the situation. It's not what a person is, it's what a person did. And that's the way God looks at things. This is what this person did. There comes a point where there is such a thing as going over the limit. This is what you are. Hard to get to that point, and without a Sanhedrin, we can't even pass it that way. So we don't kill people nowadays. Kill somebody. I mean, how do you know? You need a Sanhedrin. Even Sanhedrin really couldn't do it too much. Actually execute somebody. People say well, we also hold executions and shtus. How often did we execute somebody? 5 times in history, 10 times in history. It wasn't. It's not 1,000 a day. But the point is that we're it's very difficult to go from in our psak, in our thought pattern, from what a person does to what a person is. And that's the oznayim, and that's the einayim. Like the Maharal says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu in his einayim and in his oznayim, he stays far away. B'chol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtava. Let me just conclude with this one. B'chol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtava. Hashem sees with his eye, he hears with his ear, it's all mirachet. And everything is written in a book. What does it mean that it's written in a book? Let me give another psychological advice. If somebody hurts you, write it in a book. Because the book means it's not written here, it's written there. It's like Achashverosh, ki noded shnas hamelech. So they came and they read him the thing. So all the stories, Big Sinner is trying to kill you, and Mordechai trying to save you. And, none of this was the Gabal Levi. Why? Because he was a melech. Okay, read me the book. Interesting. I have insomnia. Read me the book, and we'll do what we're supposed to do over here. But he was a step removed. And this is the what does the Gemara say about that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a step removed, decidedly so, because if Achashverosh would get involved in every guy who's trying to kill him and plotting against the king, so he wouldn't be a king. So we're kings in that sense. We're kings in that sense that we can act in a godly fashion and always climb up the hill, always stay a step removed. This is the ultimate maturity. And this is the only survival tool, a technique that there is to be able to not fall into this misa hole. It's a hell hole to be fighting off everything that's all the nechashim and the akravim that are attacking every single day. I get out there and I look at it kilu b'seret. And that's I believe what he's saying. That's the godly thing to do, because then we're not paskening misa on anybody. So chol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtavim means it's in a book. It's also external. It's in a book. It's written in a book. The book will be opened. Lasad lavai a sefer. But it's not something which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's direct. None of us are going to come to Shabbayim and Hashem is going to say, "Oi, I hate you." It's not going to happen. What's going to happen is open the book. Okay, what about this? What about that? Let's talk. What do we say in the Sadak Tokef? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu opens up the book, V'yad kol adam hasum boy, and now he says, you sign on this. Why do we have to? Who's going to sign on their, sign here? Like, why do you have to sign on the book? Like, the book is the book. It's a history book. It's a diary. The answer is that in order for you to be chayiv in these things, you have to tell me that this is not just what you did. This is what you are. That's what the chasidah means. I'm makabel this b'me'achlus. So don't sign. Like I say, don't sign. Keep this in mind. Don't sign. Don't sign here. Don't sign there. Because we should never let the averes become what we are. Those are the stupid people that do an avera and then they're rationalizing it for the rest of their life. That they become their avera. So to join the mafia, where you can become a hero for doing the avera. That's all it's about. Stop it. I'm wrong. And then it never becomes what I am. Okay.
To take it one step further, when we die, our neshama is going to Gehenna. We're looking down and seeing what we did. It's the same kind of concept.
From afar.
What does this mean?
Miyad kol adam choyson boy.
Which means the chasim is already
Where HaKadosh Baruch, if we signed on it.
If we say
If you have to sign off on the debt.
so the pachad is we get
Who's going to sign off? Who's going to sign off? No. You're going to see your signature. What does that mean? That you rationalized it and you justified it and you became that avera. That means you signed off on it. Yes, I did that and I'm proud of it. So Shuvah says, don't sign.
It's not you.
I did something wrong, good shit, but don't sign. Because once I'm going to see your signature, you signed on this. You said it's okay. What does it mean when you get a delivery and you sign? It's okay. It's okay. I did it. I'm accepting it. I'm a kabbalah. Don't be a kabbalah. Even about ourselves, don't be a kabbalah about something else.
So,
It says